Where do elephant ears grow best? Besides an elephant, of course. Do they grow better in soil or in water? In this video, I'll show you the results of my experiment from last summer, where I grew several different cultivars in 3 different locations in my Zone 5 garden. Last spring, I purchased 2 each of 6 different elephant ears. I wanted to try and grow them in different locations to see where they did best. Here's my collection. My first location was a pond that I had just rebuilt. I transplanted each one into its own pot using soil amended with a lot of compost. I set the container so that the pots were submerged about 2 inches in water. All of the elephant ear bulbs were above this level in the pot so that none of them were sitting in water. Only their roots dangled in the water. I also added some slow-release fertilizer to the pots. In the second test, I planted them directly into my garden bed, using just my native 40% clay soil. This bed was watered a few times during the summer, but it didn't get a lot of water. It is mulched with wood chips, and that will help the soil retain a lot of moisture. I also tried planting a few in a large container, which contained my native soil and compost. This pot gets watered on a regular basis, and I use slow-release fertilizer. I expected that the elephant ear sitting in water would do the best. After all, these are bog plants that like a lot of moisture. Here are the results. The plants in the pond grew quite well. Some of the larger leaves were about 2 feet long by the end of summer. Foot-long roots were growing out the bottom of the pots. The ones in the garden grew just as well, and they also had 2-foot leaves. They may not look as large in this picture, but that is because larger plants are growing around them, hiding much of their size. The ones in the container also grew well. The dark-leaved one is a smaller cultivar, which explains its smaller size. The larger green one did not grow quite as large as the ones in the garden or pond, but it was not far behind. The ones in the pond may have gotten more water, but maybe they had less access to nutrients. That may explain why they didn't grow as large as the ones in soil. Based on this simple test, I think either soil or water works quite well. I think next year I'll try some in soil, and I'll also put some in water, but this time I'll feed them more. If you want to know how to start elephant ears in spring, or prepare them for winter storage, I have separate videos on that. Just click on the links to the right of your screen.